game, we see both teams kind of merging towards that top side river. It looks like the members of Velocity want to just go for an early catch. They have really good damage, really good CC with Annie, the Ahri charm follow-up, and of course Vayne with her tumble. Lissandra also provides a little bit of slow and the possibility, if she gets in melee range, of a very powerful root. Looks like the members of Cognitive are going to try and work around this. They're playing very cautiously themselves, but still looking for an aggressive invade with the Shen taunt, with the damage from Corky's Phosphorus Bomb and auto attacks, and of course the Zyra root. They have a lot of potential to get a kill early on. They're going to meet in this bush.
Going into the bush, there's an immediate taunt there from iDream. Evaniskus is going to be first blood, immediately blown apart. Now NK very low flashing. iDream will pick himself up a kill there. Kills on the top and AD carry to start the game for Cognitive. Face checking into the upper tribe rush is usually something that's pretty risky for the blue side team, just because if you come out of your base at the same time, well, Velocity should have been there more quickly, but they took a little bit of a time to drop a ward early on, made it there just at the same time, and with the Shadow Dash in, iDream turns that completely around.
And Evaniskus unfortunately died before he could get any of his CC off. That was just rough. That was outright bad luck and bad timing for Velocity. Had they gotten to the brush a second earlier, or even a second later, Lissandra could have landed his resonating strike. They could have scouted them out in the brush. They wouldn't have been initiated on in such a harsh manner. But no, it was just the unfortunate timing coming into play there. Now Velocity down by 2k. With assassins like this is very dangerous, but they will at least get a red buff steal, which was spotted out by the members of Cognitive.
So both buffs on the side of Cognitive's jungle will get taken out there. We'll probably see Captain Ziploc just walk across the river, jump over the barren wall, and take out a red buff for himself. Pretty much the same thing from NKing. So both junglers will take down 2 buffs early on, and I mean, it's a little bit of a different style of jungling, but still a good reaction from both junglers securing both of their buffs. The early kills transitioning already into items, as that does allow iDream the extra safety reward. Bottom lane, Evaniskus very low, will flash out. We're looking for one more auto attack, but the potion's just in time for Evaniskus. But both he and MapleStreet will be forced out of lane after incredibly aggressive play by nothinghere and Zaineking.
Evaniskus unfortunately did miss his Incinerate against Zyra earlier. Zyra does have 575 auto attack range, so he couldn't get in range to land that CC. Popped it early, it missed, and as a result, they knew they could pressure him, they knew they could chase him down. Pragmatic still has his flash up, now in a bit of danger though, as Jarvan has shown up.
There's going to be Jarvan, gets the last red buff auto attack, turns it around. There's going to be the ignite auto attack from Zamphira, makes it out from underneath the turret. Will it be enough to tick down? No! Pragmatic survives with less than 50 HP. Those flash charges taken away, taken back to base alive.
Those ticks too important as Zamphira actually hit level 3. In the meantime, Cris takes some damage up top lane. Not going to be an all-in like we've been seeing lately though, as Evaniskus once again missing that Annie stun. I think he's just not comfortable on the champion, because that costs a lot of mana, and that does cost his CC that he has to cast 5 spells to get back to. At level 1, that's a lot of mana and a lot of time he would expend doing so. Unfortunate for him in the bot lane.
And there's going to be a Phosphorus Bomb, level 2 Phosphorus Bomb, because of course Nothinghere and Zaineking are level 3, a full 2 levels higher than Evaniskus and MapleStreet, who are now hitting level 2. So that's going to be a long time coming for them. Going to be very far behind in that 2v2. And we actually talked about this before the game even started, that Corky versus Vayne is not something Vayne's too happy about, just because trading against Corky's Phosphorus Bomb so early on, especially with that level 1 disadvantage, and Corky starting with a longsword, is just going to make that all too difficult. NK Inc. down there to relieve a little bit of the pressure, as Nothinghere and Zaineking wisely backing away.
Evaniskus needs 2 casts to get his stun up. There we go. Now he's got it available. They need to get a kill. They need to get a kill soon, just because this lane is going to be so dominant from Nothinghere and Zaineking if they don't apply some serious pressure, and they have to apply it now. There is a ward in that topside brush though, so if Lissandra tries to sneak in, he will be spotted.
Keep in mind, Nothinghere has his Valkyrie out there. It's just going to be 1 Valkyrie away. Similarly to disjointing Blitzcrank rocket grabs, you can actually Valkyrie after you see the stun coming at you. There's going to be the ignite down on a Zaineking. Will the Q land? Flash for both support and jungler. Zaineking makes it out alive, but with only 100 HP. Successful gank will at least attempt to push him out of flame, but he has a health potion running. A mana potion in his inventory. Looks like he could stay here, just relying on his level advantage and the power of Nothinghere as a front line. We'll see NK Inc. come up around the mid lane. Probably won't be looking for an engagement on a Zamphira just yet, as he is very far pushed back to his turret. Looks like the other thing that's they're just looking at is a 2v1. Top lane, Captain Ziploc and iDream possibly looking for a dive onto Cris. Cris not quite level 6 and a long way until there. We'll reveal that gank attempt top lane.
Cris has taken a lot of pressure top lane. He does not have Ignite, so he's looking more for farming and surviving, as NK will meet Captain Ziploc. He does have Ahri to back him up, but Ahri out of mana, Ziploc just looking for pressure and control. That has been Cognitive's game. They're not going for kill. Well, they are going for kills, but the kills, when they don't get them, it's okay because they don't lose that much in the trade, and they're applying so much pressure. As now MapleStreet takes some damage bot lane, and Zaineking just getting into auto attacks and the planned attacks onto that Vayne.
Nothing here's burst. It's just ridiculous right now. There are a couple of different ways you can play Corky. This is going to be the hybrid penetration, picking up both armor and magic resist from masteries. So expect to see the Last Whisper and Sorcerer's Shoes build, which is pretty standard from a lot of Corkys. But if you don't see your opponents building resistances against you, you can't just go for the straight Bloodthirst. There's actually going to be the Shen ultimate already, but with Zamphira getting jumped on, NK Ink's there, iDream coming in from behind. There's going to be NK Ink able to safeguard away. iDream looking for the damage to follow up onto Fragnatic, but it's just going to be a 1-for-0 Velocity coming out ahead.
A sloppy fight coming out from Cog. They tried to send Jarvan to go for the dive onto Ahri, but unfortunately they did not know that both Lissandra and Cris were in the area looking for the counter gank onto Orianna themselves, the Shen ultimate not landing on the right target. Bit of miscommunication. It happens unfortunately, but hey, one kill is not the worst thing to give up, and they still have that 1,000 gold lead. Bot lane, of course, still in so much danger. Cris, though, is going back to base. Doesn't have the ultimate available, but he is teleporting to the bot lane.
And he's going to be able to catch out onto Zaineking, and Nothing Here finishes the teleport. Zaineking taking the majority of the burst. Nothing Here actually will get locked up there by the Ring of Frost. Damage continuing to come his way, slowed out there by the Ice Shards coming in. Just going to take a couple more spell casts. There's the Ice Shard. One last auto attack. It's actually Evaniskus to close out the kill. 2-for-0. Again, Velocity winning out in every single lane, utilizing so well the global pressure from both Shen and Lissandra's teleport. Huge pressure, huge gold coming back into Velocity swing too. Now completely even in gold. They have that kill advantage. They are a little bit behind on farm, but as levels will even out now with those kills, as gold has evened out now. We're back at a game. Before it was going to be Velocity, they had a fight to get back into this with their assassin-based comp. You cannot be behind with assassins, especially someone that isn't Zed. Zed can be behind. Zed is fine being behind. But with Ahri, with Lissandra, you need to maximize your items as fast as possible. So they're back in a controlling position. They need to keep up these ganks. They need to avoid the big team fight. 3v3s are okay. 4v4s and 5v5, their team will fall apart just because of the AoE from Orianna, the AoE CC from Jarvan and Shen. And of course, Zyra's Grasping Roots, Zyra's ultimate are going to be such a big deal later on in team fights. At least for right now, a solid number of kills coming both towards Velocity with iDream. They take a lot of damage. There's the Valkyrie in from Nothing Here. There's the dunk straight onto MapleStreet. It's going to be the last auto attack from Nothing Here to close the kill out. Evaniskus running for his life the long way around, taking the scenic route through the Dragon Pit, dropping a ward, but top lane's iDream taking down dangerously low, and against Cris, just able to poke him out, push him in underneath this turret. Not where he wants to be. Still going kind of the Quas build of triple Doran's items early on. But with NK Inc. waiting behind the turret, as soon as the wave hits that turret, iDream is not going to have a good time. Looking to get Shadow dashed out. That just sets up the tank for Cris, who will go one way. NK Inc. goes the other. That's going to be a kill top lane onto iDream, but the first turret going down for Cognitive in the bottom lane.
Yeah, a kill and a turret bot as a kill and possibly a turret top. They want to try and pick up this turret ASAP just to even out the map. Cris, with his level 8, with his teleport, can be up in a couple minutes. They want him to get into a position to roam and to start picking off Zamphira in the mid lane. Overall, lanes have evened out quite a bit, but that turret kill and it's a little bit more farm and lane advantage in the mid lane for Zamphira will just put Cognitive in a more dominant position, but ever so slightly. So they trade turret for turret. Velocity, they're still in this, but they just need to make sure that either if MapleStreet dies or if Evaniskus dies just from pressure and ganks, it's okay as long as they keep doing what they're doing now, accomplishing things in other lanes. Now the big threat is Zamphira. 81 CS, 2 assists. He is completely out-farming Fragnatic. Fragnatic just falling very far behind. That kill does make it a little bit more even, but he's still just not relevant compared to Orianna right now, and they need to get him some gold. They need to shut down Zamphira ASAP.
A little bit of a catch out there onto Evaniskus. The grasping roots from Zaineking land home, and as both Zaineking and Captain Ziploc look to clear out the ward coverage around Dragon, Velocity will need to put some pressure in that area to prevent Cognitive from grouping up. Keep in mind, Cognitive do have iDream and his global presence there, sort of countered out by Chris's teleport. And I said early on that Velocity were actually using both globals against Cognitive, and that's actually kind of true, because when you saw iDream teleport in with Stand United for the first Shen ult of the game, Velocity actually came out 1-0, and the second one is actually Cris engaging on a Captain Ziploc, chunking him down there, will flash away. Last auto attack is actually Ignite to take him out. The dunk onto Pragmatic means that he's going to be boxed up for just a little bit longer. It's actually going to walk on top of the Stranglethorns, will be forced away there as iDream is taking him out. Evaniskus will kill off Nothing here, and the top fight won by Cognitive, bottom fight won by Velocity. It winds up being a 1-for-3. Velocity winning out once again. And with that teamfight victory, Velocity come out with their 7th kill of the game, 2 kills on the lower half of their scoreboard. 2-1, the performance from everyone but NK Inc. and Cris, who have both have those 4 assists in their column, really letting them letting us know their kill contribution not coming in the kill column, but definitely contributing to the rest of the team and keeping up in CS while contributing. Usually you'll see champions who pick up kills drop a little bit farther behind, but keeping up across the board. Velocity looking extremely strong.
They have the gold lead, ever so slight, 300 gold, not massive, but it means they have a little bit more control than they had a few minutes ago. And that team fight was perfect. So a big AoE, you know, all 5 members on both sides of the line of scrimmage charging at each other, not what they want on Velocity. But what they did that fight was they forced the members of Cognitive to split up. It was a 4v2 on one side of the map, and they just transitioned towards Evaniskus, and or not to Evaniskus, but to nothinghere and Zaineking to make that a 4v2 on the other side of the Dragon Pit. So overall, an incredibly powerful team fight. It's cool to see like just that control coming out, as now nothinghere in a lot of danger bot lane.
There's the condemn into the wall after the anti-stun lands, and with nothinghere already using his Valkyrie, it's going to be NK Inc. He's just coming there to secure the kill if necessary. Winds up getting it ranged for the experience, but at the same time, the bottom lane that has been the strength for Cognitive, even when Zamphira hasn't had the strongest performances, is actually kind of faltering here. 2 kills are on to nothinghere, but with all the effort that Cognitive's put at securing this Dragon area, Velocity off of a kill on to nothinghere. Bottom lane will look for a Dragon of their own. Captain Ziploc looking to lock it down, throws the standard over the wall. Will he go for the steal? Looks like no,
Gotta give it up.
as he backs away. Yeah, giving it up. That's going to be the first Dragon over for Velocity as they secure for themselves a 2,000 gold lead.
It's hard to steal a dragon in most games. It's hard as Jarvan versus Lee Sin. Lee Sin with that execute can very easily secure the dragon for himself. And I'm very happy Cognitive did not go for an engagement, go for a 3v4, because Cris has his teleport available. He is looking in the mid lane though, has not been spotted out by any sort of ward coverage. If they do go for a gank, it'll be a surprise, but it looks like he'll just safely go back to pushing up top. They weren't sure if there was ward coverage there. It could have been a trap, and Shen does have his ultimate up soon, so any sort of long engagement is very dangerous for Velocity. They're playing their assassin comp well though. They're going for pickoffs, they're going for quick catches. They don't need to completely ace the members of Cognitive to really be in control. If they take out a core member like Jarvan, a core member like Shen, then all of a sudden Orianna's ultimate is weaker, Zyra's ultimate won't do as much. So Cris is being looked at, but the top lane, can he juke out of there? Will be safe. Takes the medical pass, pops out a Ring of Frost.
Yeah, sick juke there by Cris. It's kind of the same thing you'll see a lot of Zeds doing. There's Stand United actually going in on to, who's that actually targeted onto? I think it was Zaineking. Or Zamphira, yeah. Forcing the ultimate out of Pragmatic. Mr. Tibbers there to body block as well. But it's going to be Evaniskus making it out alive. Shenolt's down. But Cognitive putting a lot of pressure onto this mid lane, looking for the dive as well. iDream just going to taunt up NK Inc. He will go down without a fight. Pragmatic backing off, a little bit low on mana, but with a blue buff for cooldowns and some mana regen, not able to stop his middle turret from going down. Second turret of the game falling for Cognitive.
Actually, Cris did not teleport to that fight. That might have been what they needed for a turnaround, but decided to save it. That's still okay because you can always try and use that advantage on other lanes. You can always use it for a bot lane gank, for example. But once you see the ultimate from Ahri get blown, once you see Cris use his ultimate and Annie use hers, that's where you start seeing Velocity's team comp fall apart. That's where their assassination is still good, but they become dependent on the charm landing. Nothinghere in a lot of danger though in the bot lane. We'll be A-okay, though. Just got back to the turret just quickly enough, started running away at the right time, because if not, Vayne and Cris would have very easily gone for that dive.
Now, Evaniskus actually, remember, missing the first few of his stuns in lane actually cost him and MapleStreet some lane pressure, but now after picking up not only 3 assists, but 2 kills, you can see he's actually really far ahead as a Ruby side, so there's actually an assassination attempt with NK Inc. and Fragnatic in the mid lane, can't decide if they want to keep going or not. Fragnatic will be forced to flash away, and there's both Frag and NK Inc. forced out after an incredibly deep dive and an immediate dragon kick out there from NK Inc. No is the answer to do you want to fight as NK Inc. and Pragmatic make it out alive. Zaineking will go down in there. MapleStreet picking himself up his 4th kill of the game, 4-1-1. Already with the Blade of the Ruined King complete before 15 minutes. MapleStreet's Vayne kind of having an advantage after a rough early game versus nothing here. Definitely turning the tables in that matchup.
Vayne is a fantastic late game card, but you don't need a lot. You do not need a lot with Vayne to really get her damage out there. And then factor in that they've got Cris backing them up, that Zaineking is playing one of the least mobile champions in the game in Zyra. She has no mobility skills. She can root people chasing her, but when you're going up against Lissandra, who actually has teleported top lane, does have NK there as well.
Home guard TP gank effective. There's the Ring of Frost locking iDream up. Then actually the Ice Path away. So Cris not really in position to finish off the chase onto iDream, who will be able to shadow dash over the wall. The safety mid lane though. A lot of pressure put on by Velocity as they will take out their 3rd turret. That is the last final outer turret taken down. Velocity, 1 turret up, 4 kills up, and 2.8 thousand gold in the lead.
Now, realize with Velocity's team, they will very easily lose a team fight still. A good Orianna shockwave, a good Shen taunt, it's so devastating. It is so hard to react against that, especially when you have so much single target CC and single target burst. However, if they can keep up this momentum, if they can keep the map under their control, look at the vision. There are very few wards down for Cognitive versus the vision control coming out from Velocity. This means that Cris doesn't have to use teleport to surprise people. It means that Shen and Kayent can just come out of the jungle and help pick up kills, help go for those ganks like it happened up top lane. It's very, very difficult for Cognitive to spot these out, to clear all these wards out, because Zaineking has been picked off so much, every time he moves forward, he's in danger. They are trying to set up a trap, though. This is going to be an interesting twist. They want that team fight. They want the AoE. They want the cluster.
With Zaineking having his oracles, hasn't quite cleared out the ward around the red buff. Will clear out a little bit more vision as Cognitive, they're looking for a nice team fight. They have the Orianna Jarvan Wombo combo, but Cris gonna go in, starts the initiation, locking down Zamphira, gonna immediately get blown apart as Pragmatic goes in there. Cris will flash over the wall, gets it taken down by nothing here, but there's a double kill for MapleStreet in the back, and off of a huge initiation from Cris, one after another, triple kill coming out from MapleStreet. The Odd Pro going ham deep underneath the turret. NK Inc. continues the chase. There's gonna be iDream going down there, one more auto attack. There's gonna be the Quadra, and MapleStreet going godlike, takes out Nothing Here, picking up 5 kills, every single one going the way of MapleStreet. The unofficial Penta makes him 8-1-4. I actually think he only picked up 4 of those kills.
Evaniskus, the scumbag, denying that last kill.
My goodness.
Okay, because they pick up a turret in response. That is how you team fight as an assassin comp. Look at the shockwave for Zamphira. He could not find a good moment to cast just because he was chained up so much, just because they got him out of the fight so quickly. When it comes to assassination comps, it's like dealing with a Zed. They'll kill someone before they can be relevant. Zamphira, a good shockwave, could have easily turned around that fight, but he never had a chance to get it off. And that is how they were playing their comp. Well, that is how you play a team that is so built around picking off members. In those big team fights, you do not let someone survive for long enough to get that big team fight ultimate off. And the star right now, the guy that's going to bring back Cognitive, is Zamphira. He's got the most farm in the game, not the most kills, but the command shockwave is so crucial to setting up a team fight at this point that if he's dying before that spell goes off, if he cannot find a good way to hit at this point, Cris, Pragmatic, and from MapleStreet with that ultimate, there is no way his team can win a fight.
Now, I actually tweeted about this yesterday after Cognitive's extremely good performance. There's going to be an initiation, though, on a Ziploc. Dragon will go down. Command Shockwave lands on a Pragmatic. Is going to dash back away from that. Pragmatic safe for now. Has another proc of Spirit Rush available. Going to stay safe in the back. And Velocity come out with 1 kill onto Ziploc. Dragon will be taken away there by, I believe it was NK Inc. Yeah, he did secure that Dragon for Velocity. Now with NK Inc. and Fragnatic backing away, it's Zamphira caught on the wrong side of the tracks. That's enough damage to take out an Evaniskus, but doesn't have enough mana. It's actually NK Inc. can't quite get there in time, but it's MapleStreet picking up the kill with a last-second auto attack. It goes legendary at 9-1-3. And what I was talking about the tweet yesterday about Lissandra. Usually you'll see them go for that 5 seconds of invulnerability by turning their first needlessly large rod into a Zhonya's hourglass. Cris has turned his first one into a Deathfire Grasp, knowing that it's a burst assassin comp. You want to nuke people down with Ahri, with Lissandra, and have MapleStreet clean up from the back off of huge hard CC engages that both Evaniskus and Cris have been able to achieve. iDream stopping his back in the top lane.
Plays so well, that DFG plays so well into their comp because they have so much AP damage. And then if you look at iDream, he didn't go for early match resist. He went for the early damage and lane control. He went for a Triforce. And that's actually a fantastic item on Shen. It does increase his damage by a lot. But this means that their front line, he has so little match resist that the combination of DFG, Ahri, and Lissandra's ultimate is just going to murder him.
And speaking of murdering, we're going to look towards the top lane. Knock-up, double knock-up there by Captain Ziploc as he's going in. Cris will fall here. The kick out. It kicks him right into MapleStreet, who condemns Ziploc against the wall. Seals the kill and locks in the freshness at the same time, taking out the entire tank line for Cognitive. And now pushing down the top lane turret. There is a second tier turret up there for Cognitive to take, and poised to take that. It's only nothing here to stop them. There's the Timbers engage. NK Inc. gonna dish out the damage. Zaineking. It's DFG Fragnatic to follow up for the damage. Double command shockwave there. Velocity diving a little bit deep there. Only lose Cris, but back off and take down their 5th turret of the game.
A good command shockwave, but a bit too little, a bit too late. Nothing here to survive, but it takes the sacrifice of Zaineking. And actually, Zamphira ate a charm. Don't know if it was intentional or not, but that charm being eaten by Zamphira did save Nothing Here's life. At this point, the comp's gone from assassination to let from MapleStreet do what he wants to do. MapleStreet, I've seen him play for a long time. When he's feeling confident, when he's feeling like he can win a game with the support of his team, let them be a frontline team, let them tank, then he plays exceptionally well in these hypercarry type positions, especially when this farmed up. So because of his 11-1-3 score, which is insane, especially for a hypercarry like Vayne, MapleStreet can confidently just auto-attack anybody he can, not go for aggressive dives, not go for anything too crazy, and even if the rest of his team dies, because they're playing so well and getting the CC they need to on the right targets, MapleStreet will be in a position to clean up all of these fights, which he's just been doing. I mean, double kill up top lane. He did not get, actually he did get the kill onto Zaineking, I believe, so just picking up kills left and right, which when you're a Vayne, it's A-okay.
Now Velocity are very split up right now. There's MapleStreet all the way back in base, and Cris taking the long way around Dragon will mean that Cognitive's strong enough in their own jungle to pressure Velocity away. Velocity doubling up Cognitive right now in kills, more than double in turrets as well, and pretty much everything going in their favor. The one difference is that if you do look at that middle lane, it's a, 70 CS advantage for Zamphira, who is crushing through, at least in the minion score, finds himself at 1-3-3 against 4-1-2 Ahri, so the kills come in the way of Velocity, but once again, it's not how many kills you get, it's what you do off the back of those kills, and Velocity able to turn those kills away into turrets, into just a global gold lead and objectives as well. Now it's going to be the stun on to Zaineking, and Pain King will almost go down. I was about to say Slain King, but they robbed me of my final pun of the night. He stays alive.
It's okay. You'll have a chance. He might die later.
Well, he's 0-5 right now, so I've missed my chance 5 times in a row. We'll see if it comes back a little bit later on. While Cris and iDream in the bottom lane just try to stop each other from being able to join the next fight.
iDream will actually beat Cris in a one-on-one. It was shown earlier. He's just going to walk towards him. But if Cris gets the surprise, maybe he can pick up this kill. Now just hanging out near Shen. He could be waiting there to interrupt the ultimate if a fight does break out as well. Even if he doesn't have his ultimate, denying iDream into a fight, denying his entrance, is a big deal. I think Cris is willing to sacrifice his own initiation, and even possibly his life, just to make sure Shen can't get to that fight. Baron is being attempted, though. So now, if there's ever been a moment to interrupt a Shen ult, it's going to be right now. Jarvan is scouting out the area. Evaniskus is there for defense and for point. Baron down to 3,000 HP.
There's no way that Ziploc can steal this because Evaniskus is just going to stun him before it goes down. That's going to be the first Baron of the game going to Velocity, about as free and clear as it gets. A nice job by Evaniskus zoning things out, and early on, I just can't say it enough, Evaniskus with a rough start to the game, missing several stuns, mismanaging his mana, and coming out with a huge 317 performance. Has everything you need. Actually, he grabbed the Doran's shield there as well, and is now kind of zipping around the base, picking up a lot of extra wards, and really the ward coverage, the Oracle's presence, just so huge. Annie, after a rough start, is really coming into her own, maybe growing up a little bit over the course of this game.
Maybe. I think a lot of that early game was just Evaniskus misjudging Zyra's auto attack range, and it's that 25 extra range on Zyra that makes it so if she auto attacks you, she's not going to be in range if she jukes back properly. So it's unfortunate to see that happen early, but he has recovered well, like you said. And now with that Baron pickup, now with the fact that every member of Velocity is terrifying, even Evaniskus, he doesn't have a whole lot of AP, only 56, but with his stun, he is still scary. Every member is essentially a hyper carry, even Lee Sin to a degree. That is just terrifying if you're a member of Cognitive. They don't have a good person to focus on because they have to kill Vayne. But if Vayne survives, then Vayne is killed, Ahri will probably survive that exchange. And she's doing so much burst, she can easily pick off nothinghere and easily pick off Zamphira. If you could take out Ahri, Vayne survives, and Cris is not even factored into this yet.
I was a little bit worried for Evaniskus walking down the bottom lane, but he wards the bush instead of face checking. Winds up staying alive for now. If you want to look at the global objective column, you can see giant zeros in Cognitive Gaming's Dragon and Baron counters. Velocity all over those objectives all game long. One of the good things about Big, there's actually a dive behind the turret. Zamphira getting blown apart. Corky as well. The dive, the assassination, so strong from Velocity. And now with the dive behind the turret continuing, it's going to be Ziploc to fall. iDream is the only surviving member of Cognitive. He's going to make it out alive. The lower turret will not. Sixth turret taken down. GG is actually called by Captain Ziploc in chat. And with a 4-0 surrender vote, Velocity eSports, winless no longer, will pick up their first victory of the Salt League, taking out Cognitive Gaming.
Got it. They finally got their first win. They're finally showing some numbers. And this was a fantastic game for them. This wasn't them muddling around. This wasn't a game where it really felt like Cognitive gave it to them. No, they were dominant. They were in control. They were powerful. Very early on in the game, just going for, not crazy, but aggressive fights. And actually, even though they came out 2-0 or 0-2 in that level 1 exchange, they still aggressively snowballed the lane. So they made sure that Fragnatic became a powerful force. They made sure that Maplestreet ended the game 13-1-4. 12.4k gold at the 27-minute mark. Nothing to scoff at. Velocity looking better than they have in a while. This was a fantastic game for them. If this is their permanent lineup, then I'm loving it. Stick with it, roll with it, because it has a lot of potential.
And that's going to do it for our second game of the night. It's Velocity eSports in commanding fashion take their first win of NACL, and maybe Cognitive channeling a little bit of their own salt as well after going down. Now actually only one game up on Velocity in the bottom of the standings, and so it could be the turning point for Velocity. We'll get a chance to see them play next week. But that means that it's time for our third match of the night. It's going to be Complexity taking on Team Coast. And we just saw a battle of the lower